Hello! The new cycle of Stygian Onslaught dropped this morning, so just like usual, I will try to beat the fairest difficulty with the least amount of 5-star units I can and give some tips on the way. And as usual, 5-star weapons and battle pass weapons are not allowed, and none of the limited 5-star units have constellations, except for Yaimiko's C1 because you can get it for free in the Temper Thyself event. So without further ado, let's get going right away. We start with the first of the two new bosses, and yes, this is not the exact same as our previous Fatui operative enemy. This is a new special one that has very similar mechanics but cannot be cheesed with full damage tech. Once again, arlecchino is very strong against this one because it has the same bond of life mechanics as last time, but other than that it's really not all that tanky, and there's actually quite a lot of teams that can clear it. I decided to go for an effort team, but I was absolutely demolishing it with Lauma, so I decided to play Nahida instead. Out of curiosity, I DPS tested this team against the dummy, and it dealt around 80 to 90k DPS, so there really should be a lot of teams that can work here. This boss just has some anemo resistances. The shield being up for half of the fight makes favonius and sacrificial weapons a bit weird to use, which can be annoying for teams that struggle with energy, and it can be hard to survive sometimes, but apart from that, it's really not that bad. Also, funny mechanic with Wriothesley, since the bond of life from the boss prevents you from healing, Wriothesley can basically infinitely spam his Stellar Conduct buffed charge attack to do a ton of damage, so he's very strong here. Apart from that, I don't really know what else to say. I am using Witsith on Nefer here, but I only got one EM buff at the very beginning, so yeah, you would deal more damage with the craftable. I just don't have the craftable, so I always use Witsith. Also, yeah, my Sucrose died here. For some reason I found it harder to survive on Sucrose than on Nefer here, but it didn't matter in the end because that was the last rotation anyway. After that, we have the second new boss, the Stellar Lion. Here I wanted to try the brand new Cryo Traveler, and this guy's actually pretty strong. Now, there's a few things I have to mention here. Firstly, my Yaimiko is on the Witsith, which is not ideal. I think the new craftable weapon would be better on her, but I didn't have the resin to level it up yet. Secondly, I'm using Diona, which I usually don't recommend with the Traveler because Cryo Traveler really likes to do fast rotations, and Diona has a 20 seconds cooldown on her burst, so it makes things a bit awkward, but against this boss specifically, I found that having a bit of extra cryo allowed me to break the shields just fast enough to squeeze in an extra rotation, so I got better results with Diona than with Sucrose. And thirdly, I do have to mention that my Chi-Chi is C6, but I purposefully did not use her burst a single time, so it's pretty much the same as a C0 Chi-Chi. Her other constellations don't really do much, and her C6 only activates when you burst, so yeah, it's just a cosmetic C6 Chi-Chi. For the Traveler's combo, I'm not exactly sure if I'm doing everything right, to be honest. I'm kinda just spamming N2C and using his burst towards the end of his uptime, and that's about it. Maybe I'm doing something terribly wrong without realizing it, I don't know. As for other teams, I do think this boss should have plenty of teams that can clear it. Right before recording this, I saw a 2-cost Ganyu clear with like Xiongling and Bennett, and I also found like a Cryo Varka clear with Chi-Chi and Cryo Traveler. So yeah, as long as you can deal with the shield and have pretty good damage, you should be fine. You don't really need the stealth stuff. Honestly, I could have gotten a more interesting clear for this boss, but I didn't have as much time as usual for this, and I still wanted to release the video as early as possible, so yeah, Cryo Traveler it is. And for the last boss, we have the return of the duck. And it's kind of funny how for the second time, this guy is the one that single-handedly makes the cycle 3 times harder to clear. There's really not all that much interesting stuff for this boss. Either you have Flins Premium or ineffa and you absolutely demolish him, or you don't and you have to brute force with a ton of damage. Having a team that deals good AoE damage is pretty important here because you're gonna have to kill all of these little ducks at least once, if not twice, and yeah, you just need to deal enough damage. That's about it. I was able to get away with Dubai Premium without Linnea, but honestly that's only because my Itlo is C6, otherwise I probably would have needed Linnea or ineffa, but I thought using bineffa on the bineffa boss would be a bit lame. Anyway, let me just open the Stygian spreadsheet and give you all the teams that cleared this at C0R0 investment. It's not necessarily all of them, but like, it's all of the ones I've heard about. There's a Colombina DPS team with Nilo? Okay, that's kind of interesting, but I don't think it's very replicable. I don't know if a lot of people build DPS Colombina. There's an Effort Premium if you have good builds. There's a top 64 Veressa, holy build, with C6 servers and Yansan and 0 seconds to spare. That's pretty cool. We have 20 different Mawika teams, as usual. And then the rest is all Bineffa wheelchair. But if you have odette, I definitely think Sandrone, Mizuki, and Cryo Traveler can clear this. Maybe Sandrone can even clear without odette. I think she can. I don't really know about Risley. He's pretty strong, but I don't know if his AoE is good enough. But yeah, anyway, Duck is the annoying one. You need a lot of damage to clear it, and that's about it. It's not a very interesting boss. Anyway, that was it for this video. You can see my builds in the background here. I'm not super happy about my clears this time. I didn't really find anything goofy, but I do have a few ideas for different teams, but I think I'm gonna make full videos on the team itself with the Stygian clear as an extra, rather than the other way around. I'm gonna try something new. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, I wish you good luck on your Stygian clears, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!